Yo, what's up guys? It's 4 a.m. You know what time it is. I just came off a 10-hour Pokemon stream. I just wanted to show you guys, or more like, I guess, help show this concept I think is really important for Season 10 ADCs to understand. Especially when you feel like you don't really get to play the game, so to speak, right? I think that's a very well-known idea among ADC mates, is that it feels like you have no impact for the first 30 minutes of the game, which is pretty much the whole game, right? And so I had a really nice game here a few days ago on a GM account, and one of the GM accounts, and I wanted to kind of study this with you guys so that you guys can see if you can find any nice ideas to apply to your gameplay. Because of course, if you want a certain result, like if you want to have, if you want to carry with ADC, sometimes you will have to study games of an ADC carrying so you can see how you to replicate it, right? League is all about pattern and pattern recognition and how to basically make good patterns reappear and make bad patterns disappear. Okay, so the pattern I want to teach you guys today is called the main character habit. Now this, if you've been watching stream or YouTube or watching coaching or whatever, I have talked about this, but I haven't made a dedicated video to this, and I think this will be our dedicated video to the main character habit. Okay, and I actually think this is super important in Season 10 because Season 10 is all about team play. I think teamwork is probably more emphasized this season than any other season. I think some other high-low players will probably agree with me on this in the sense of, every game feels like jungle diff. Jungle decides what the team gets to do. Mid can't play if support is roaming. Support can't play if ADC is not following up. ADC can't play if support is missing skill shots or not warding properly. Top lane can't play if just jungle doesn't know what to do or doesn't understand matchups or wave management. It's very team oriented, more so than before, I think, right? So what we're going to study today, or what we're going to talk about today, is called the main character habit. Now, what is the main character habit? The main character habit, I like to call it the main character habit because I think it sticks in people's head if it's just something kind of funny. It's basically identifying who is the protagonist of your team. Who is the main character of your team in any given situation. And what do we mean by main character? Well, let's say, for example, you have Caitlyn, Thresh, Ahri, Kha'Zix, and Aurelia, right? And the mid game rolls around, okay? And you say, okay, who are the main characters? Who are the people that define your team comp at that point in the game, right? Depending on the items, depending on the champion. So obviously Ahri is going to be a big factor with her charm and her ulti. Thresh is going to be a big factor with his hook. These are main characters. Your team revolves around these champions essentially, so that you guys will get stuff done as a team through these champions and their abilities, right? That's basically how it works. That's how League works, right? So certain champions are strong at certain points of the game and then weak at other points of the game, yada yada yada. Okay, now I want to show you something that really stuck out to me the other day while I was watching Dopa's replays. Okay, I want to preface this team fight by saying man advantage has been frequently discussed on this channel in terms of as a quick shortcut to understanding which team has advantage, which team does not, right? Man advantage, ideas like chasing, ideas like cooldowns, ability value, right? And I want to throw out this idea for Season 10 is the main character idea. And the reason why I'm mentioning man advantage is because for the past few years, man advantage has been a core defining trait in determining what a good fight looks like, right? The team with more people is going to win, right? And in Season 10, I think it's simply no longer the case in the sense of you're guaranteed to win or lose based off your numbers. Now, before, of course, there were exceptions, but now in Season 10, there are a lot of exceptions, right? So a classic exception back in the day where a few years ago or last year or whatever was oh, if you can one-shot someone, if you have giga ability value, like a 5-man Ori ulti, right? or you can instantly delete someone, right? And nowadays, well, guess what? The ability to instantly delete someone is pretty frequent. Actually, in every single game is very prevalent, right? I think this idea, I think many of you will agree that some champions at certain times of the game have the interesting ability to just automatically just destroy another champion, right? I mean, here's a classic example. Dopa's playing Fizz, it lands an ulti on like Soraka. That champion's fucking dying unless she has stopwatch, right? Probably dies through like barrier heal and whatnot. Like, let's be honest, right? So, well, this is the reason why I think this video is so important to make, is because when I watched Dopa play, okay, I always ask myself, I try and pause when big fights happen, and I say, what would I do if I were Dopa? And in this team fight, it pretty much did the opposite of what I would do from a decision-making standpoint. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And, you know, the results might surprise you, okay? I went over this with a student yesterday, or sorry, not yesterday, but like 3 or 4 days ago. And it's kind of the reason why I'm making this video, is this Dopa example, and also the recently good game I had, okay? So from a man advantage standpoint, you know, usually the habit is you look at the map, you see a fight's about to break out, you count at numbers, and you decide whether or not you guys want this based off of numbers, right? So let's watch this replay, and based off of our understanding of man advantage, and let's kind of try to apply it to this team fight, right? We see Fiora is dead, we see Graves is top, Cassin is top, Aurelia is dead, right? Cassin has TP, by the way. So, and Aurelia is closer, so, you know, she will spawn in time if the fight does last that long. Spoilers, it does. So if you take a look at this fight, you would say off the top of your head, it's just a 3v4. We kind of need to leave, guys, because Graves is just top. Right, so that's my assumption. It's like, oh, let's just leave unless you can find like some kind of one shot on someone. That's like the old school, my old school habit of figuring out team fights, right? Man advantage and watching the team fight to see if there's any kind of insane value or one shot. Now, if you watch this, right, he lands ulti on Kai'Sa, but she's gonna flash, so he doesn't go for it, right? And there's no one shot. You're losing man advantage. You know, like where's the giga value? There's no giga value. You lost your Fizz ulti for like half of Kai'Sa's health. It's not bad, but, you know, isn't this just a loss? Isn't this just a straight loss, right? From a man advantage standpoint, from a formulaic standpoint, it is a straight loss. But here's the thing. It's not a loss, right? Here's a spoiler alert. It's not a loss. And Dopa's not playing it like it's losing, right? Dopa's not really playing like it's losing at all, right? If you watch the clip in full, you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on here? It's not a 3v4 they're winning. It's a 3v5 they're winning, right? What the fuck is going on here? And Dopa didn't like instantly kill anyone or anything, right? So something obviously something is wrong with my way of thinking or decision making in these fights. If I would have done something completely different and miss this ginormous opportunity. How the hell do you reproduce this? So if you go back and we watch and we just think about this from the main character standpoint, okay? So the main character habit is identifying on your team, first of all, and then the enemy team later, that comes in later, but on your team, what does your team need to do in order to win this fight? Like win conditions, you can say, or who are the main characters? Who's gonna enable this win? Okay, so if you look at Dopa's team, it's Thresh is like a hook, that's it, right? And then Aphelios, kind of 200 years stuff, and Fizz ulti, right? Some kind of Fizz gameplay, okay? So if you take a look at it, what is the team's game plan? Oh, let's peel for Aphelios, essentially, is what it becomes. Let's play around our main character, which is the Aphelios, right? Who is strong in the video, right? And then for the enemy team, who are their main characters? Oh yeah, oh perfect. Oh my god, it's perfect. And it's not like they're giga fed or anything. Like they are strong, but like look at Kai'Sa. I mean, Kai'Sa is not bad. Cassidy is very relevant. I think Leona is also very relevant. Maybe Echo kind of useless, but I think Aurelia is also very relevant, right? So if we take a look at this, it's not like they're 2 million gold ahead or anything, right? It's more like which team is playing around their win conditions better in a team fight. Which team is playing around their main characters? Okay, so I want you to watch how Dopa plays this. Okay, we're gonna just go through this team fight piece by piece. Okay, So you'll see that he's just casually pushing this, and then if you notice the fight, that's committed. That's a fight breaks out. Leona's already on someone here, right? That's on the Thresh, and Aphelios is like, I'm not sure if this is good or not. Aphelios doesn't have ulti, by the way, right? So what's the game plan here? We can, like, you know, throw ulti on a high value target like Kai'Sa and see what happens. You know, maybe we do get good value out of the ulti, and then, you know, obviously once your ulti is over, Fizz's like ginormous playmaking is kind of lessened because he doesn't have the burst combo. That's a funny image with the dog here, by the way. So how does this team win? How does this team win? Well, you just saw, you play around the main character, Aphelios. Can Aphelios physically win this? Yes, by pressing Q, right? And I mean, you guys have seen it before, so of course it's by pressing Q, but you can apply this to any carry like Cassio. Oh, she's going to press Q, spam E, or ulti, spam E, ulti flash, anything like that, right? Cassidy gonna jump around, jump on the backline, R flash into EW. So yeah, you guys know, you guys understand these champions, right? You've seen how these champions win games, so you understand that this is a certain, you understand that you have to play for it, if that makes any sense. Like, we're playing for this win condition, right? So if you watch what Dope is doing here, okay, he has the weighted cooldowns. He like kind of missed his E or whatever, right? He's look at where he panned his screen. Do you see that? Look, he sees this Leona go down, flashes down, he pans his screen to the Aphelios. Fuck the Leona, dude. I have to play for the Aphelios. How do you play for Aphelios? Well, do the damage to the guys hitting Aphelios, I guess, if you're playing Fizz, right? So if you watch this, he's straight up like, yo, I am helping Aphelios. You see this? Bro, he's not like, look, I bet many of you players fucking flash Q or something on this Aurelia. That's not even like, I mean, on this Leona, this is not even a consideration for him, I'm pretty sure. He's just like, yo, I mean, you could to kill. Does that help your Aphelios 1v9? You know, maybe not so much, right? Maybe you need to peel him better than just you know, using your flash to kill the Leona, right? So here's the thing. Watch this. This is the insane part about Dope. I'm just like, holy shit, this guy, I'll never be as good as this guy. You see how he uses his pull right before the Cassidy Zhonya's is about to expire? He's peeling. Remember, we're peeling Aphelios, our win condition, right? And what are they trying to do? They're trying to kill your main character, which is the Aphelios. So, of course, Cassidy's gonna R forward. Look at this prediction. He just literally predicted Cassidy. Literally, boom. Instantly killed Cassidy to help his main character stay alive, right? And then, okay, we're chasing Echo. You see this? You see the Aurelia TPing? Okay, how do we play for Aphelios again, right? How do I make sure Aurelia just doesn't kill Aphelios? Look, he's putting himself between Aurelia and his carry. And when he sees that Aurelia is not running this way, there's only one direction she must run in order to win this fight, which is the other side of the wall. So he immediately turns around, uses sweeper, he finds her, and he just helps do damage to her so that they can win this fight. You see this? And then like, you can stopwatch after Aurelia gives up, right? But like, look, how do you orchestrate this 3v5? And I think an easy first step you can do is apply the main character theory whenever fights are about to happen, okay? And like, this is just, it's fucking insane. But you also have to realize he will probably do this like, I don't know, like 9 times out of 10. You give him this team fight, he's gonna play the same way, right? That's how habits work, right? And when I play this team fight, I will play this fight 0 times out of 1,000 the way he did it. I'm not even close to his level, right? So, I like to call this the main character habit, and I want to discuss this with you guys in my replay, okay? So this is me, I think, applying this theory in a relevant manner in Season 10 and having very good results with it, okay? And remember, it's all about like team play and stuff. And you know, if you know, saying the main character theory might be kind of silly, right? Because you know, it's really just playing around your carries at any given stage of the game. But I think saying it in a funny way, like main character, you know, who's the anime protagonist, who's One Punch Man, you know, on your team. I think that putting it in that way will help people remember in-game better. And I want you to guys, remember we talk about habits and stuff and habit forming on this channel. I want you to kind of see that I think a good place to insert this habit is every time PvP is about to happen, you must identify who the main characters on your team are and how you will play around them. Okay, main characters on your team and how you will play around them. Okay, here actually I want to show you another example. I show my student this. We haven't even delved into the video yet, but hey, got some nice examples here. Okay, this is a great example of how to use the main character habit here. All right, so I don't know if you guys have watched this video, but this is in my most recent montage, how I won Twitch Rivals. Okay, and I was applying this idea in fives, right? Because you know Twitch Rivals is on comms and everything is set teams. And in this example, this is the third dragon. We have 2 dragons as a team. Our top laner just died. I think Will is a little bit unhappy. I think he said something on comms like, "Listen to comms, they were coming to kill you." It's pretty funny. But anyways, you know, it's a 4v5 essentially, right? And you know, according to our man advantage rule, you should not fight this. You should not contest this dragon. Just like in the 3v5 or 4v5 or whatever 3v4 in the Dopa team fight, you should not fight. You should try and run, right? But in fact, maybe through the main character theory, we can have a more accurate representation of good outcomes and bad outcomes with this idea. Like, oh, how can you possibly win a 4v5? Because obviously it's not impossible, right? So using the main character theory, we say every time a fight's about to break out, which is anytime you see an objective, you could say, fight's about to break out, how will your team win this fight? Like mechanically, this is like tactics, right? In chess, I guess you could say. What is the exact way how will we actually execute this? Okay, so if you look at our team, obviously Karma, you know, Q is not going to do anything, right? Obviously Silas Q is not going to do anything. Kaylin's not going to do shit, right? So how does this team ever do something, right? So you can say Silas steals. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see team comps. Silas steals Cassio ult. Silas steals Bard ulti. A Thresh hook. That was probably the only ways you're really gonna get something done here. I think. I don't even know if Silas stun is guaranteed. You got a Silas stun combo with the Thresh hook. Maybe those are related, right? So if those are the only ways you can do something, how can I, as an ADC who feels useless, play in such a way to enable that for my team? Remember, it's a team game. I'm not playing to keep myself alive and do damage. The reason that doesn't work right now is because when you're alive, you still don't do damage, right? You're just fucking you're just a walking cannon minion. You really don't do anything, right? So how can you help enable the people on your team that can do something? Okay, so I want you to take a look at this clip. Okay, and it might not appear obvious to you, but you know, obviously Silas is not stealing any ultis, relevant ultis, right? But we end up finding a way into this 4v5, right? And we end up pushing them out of Baron, right? Because now they have no main character. Cassio was their main character. Now they got nothing, right? Ezreal did not have Muramana, right? And yeah, that's basically it. They had no way to play around this. Actually, Ezreal ends up dying here, unfortunately. So now here's the thing. It looks kind of like, oh, we're just waiting for a Thresh to land a hook, right? From a novice's perspective, Thresh landed the God hook and saved the dragon fight. And it may not seem obvious to some viewers, but let's take a look at this team fight from the enemy team's perspective. Okay, here we have Strumpus's point of view, the Cassio, right? And they just killed our teammate. They're angling for the dragon. And let's see how he gets hooked here, right? Let's imagine you're playing Cassio and you have ulti and flash in 3 seconds. What are you thinking here? Right? Oh, I'm going to zone them. When we're doing the dragon, they're going to try and contest the 4v5. We're going to fight this, right? Holy shit. How did I just get hooked and die? How does that even happen? Right? And this actually has happened to literally every single person who's ever played League of Legends or games or whatever. You will be distracted by something, so you get caught by something else, or you get caught by an attack you didn't see, right? And what's the thing that's distracting here? Well, actually, if you look at this and you're playing Cassio, where did he pan his screen to? It's to me, because I'm literally walking into ulti range, right? Look at this. He walks up a little bit further just to make sure I'm in ulti range, so he can press R in my face, so they can turn as a team. And he does not remember. He forgets that there's a Thresh here. Right? There's two parts to the main character. When you are a main character, you have to watch out for other main characters, right? So we haven't really gotten to that part of the main character habit yet. But yeah, it's basically this is how you can enable your team in order to allow them to do stuff. You can bait, right? You can distract. You can do something. You can come up with something. I promise you. You just come up with anything, right? even inting can be a theory. Sometimes you just flash in place. That's very distracting, right? that's very distracting, I would say. That would probably enable a blitz hook. If you saw Caitlyn flash in place here and Blitz is standing here, you're probably not thinking about the blitz. You're like, what the fuck is this Caitlyn doing, right? Right? Or if she nets and instantly flashes, you're like, what is going on, right? You get distracted, right? So, I think I'll ask this a way. I just want to illustrate this point because it shows that you can influence the game without pressing any buttons, like doing damage. Like you don't have to kill people to influence the game in a meaningful manner, right? And that's all what Season 10 ADC is about, because surprise, you do no damage.